God's blessing, fellow warriors. I want to do the update on the Perfect Storm prophecy by John Paul Jackson. First, I want to tell everybody who haven't heard about the prophecy. If you search for that on YouTube, you still find original version, and you will be able to listen to that, as well as he had multiple updates himself when he was still living. John Paul Jackson is with the Lord for a good few years now, and obviously he cannot do any updates. He used to have a website which was called something like Weathering Perfect Storm, but this website is now gone. Well, not now, but for a while now. So I have created, not now, but it's already happened a while ago, a Telegram group which is called The Perfect Storm is Here, and the link is in the description. You can join this group, and we share there different aspects of this, what is happening, but mostly as we focus there on economic and financial situation, because this one is the most obvious one. Also, there is a email address in the description through which, if you email me at this email address, I will be able to send you ID and login for Zoom group, which we want to establish, a international group where we can pray for all those countries which will be mostly affected by a perfect storm. This would be obviously United States, Canada, Australia, Europe as whole, and maybe other countries. There's no limits on what country you are from. So those two things, if you want, please join this group and email me, and we will establish that prayer group, international prayer group. Now, obviously, this Perfect Storm by John Paul Jackson was, as you could see on that initial picture, recorded originally in 2008, and in reality it was really started happening maybe around COVID situation. It relates to different areas of life, to religious, political, financial, weather, and war. So those five main areas. You can obviously subdivide and the different aspects of that, but those five: religion, politics, financial, weather, and war. War is extension of politics, but so those we have were covered by this Perfect Storm prophecy. There were other prophecies related to that. By one of them was by Bob Jones. You can still also find it. It's about 60-minute video. It's a little bit. He's speaking about more than that, but part of that is Perfect Storm. Most recent ones were by Joshua Giles. He has a prophetic ministry. You can easily find his channel on YouTube, at least until now. So through those people you can find different confirmation of what they see prophetically. What I want to do kind of update on what is happening. I want to focus on a few things which I believe are important. If you could, I would really be grateful if you subscribe, comment, share my channel. Although we serve mostly, I'm trying to serve mostly Ireland, but We obviously want people from all over the world also to visit us, and this will help our all the algorithm and position if you subscribe, share, like, and comment. So I really appreciate it. Now let's go to those updates. So starting from religion point of view, it seems to be that what started to happening is some revealing of sin in church. So basically, probably most of you, I know I won't be talking about, I won't be mentioning names, but it came out not the long time ago, and mostly it is touching big churches, big ministries, and it is a part of the shaking which God has promised through John Paul Jackson and others. So it is happening. Church will be changing. Church has to change, otherwise it will not survive, because lukewarm church will not be able to live through the tribulation and won't be taken, obviously, in a rapture. So God wants to revive his church, and that because judgment starts from the house of the Lord. So those things are happening. They're happening in the big churches. They're also happening in smaller churches, and I've seen many things like that happening in Ireland over the years. Not very recently, but within the 5 years back, I've seen a good few churches being shaken big time. And so that's basically what I can see at the moment. There's a lot of good, also what the good side of what is happening, let's call it the religious section of the storm. There is a lot of good prophetic voices which are warning people. Now there is a lot of screaming and everything about tribulation starting and everything. I honestly do not believe it. You may disagree with me, and please share it in comments if you want to. However, I expecting first the third temple to be built and Gog and Magog war to happen before tribulation can start. So that's why I don't believe that we are in that time frame. Also things which I heard from God, and things which I believe must happen, like restoration of the United States. And when I'm saying restoration, that means that fall will be first, then there will be restoration. I don't know how far the fall will go. I'm not in that subject. There are others who know better. But United States is in the process of shaking, as other nations are. So actually, as you can see, I moved to political. So we are freshly after the debate between the two gentlemen, which one of them was not all there. So you know who I'm talking about, at least people from the United States. And you could see that great reveal of what is happening. So I know that a lot of us knew exactly. I knew exactly where he was mind-wise, but a lot of Americans didn't, and they were in shock, especially those that were in the democratic bubble. So it is part of the shaking, and the political system there will be shaken further, and it's being shaken. I want to point to something what I heard recently, that the Chevron law bill, or whatever it was called, was made invalid or whatever. However, your Supreme Court in United States called that repealed. Sorry, Chevron was repealed. Now, some of you may not even know what it means, but I tell you in a short. Basically, what it does, it sends back power from three-letter agencies like EPA or others back to the Congress. So agencies won't be able to enforce on you things which are not set in law, and you will be able to challenge them in court. Because so far, after that law was, I think the law was from 1984 or something, you couldn't challenge the agency in the court, because courts would send you back to agency. Agency was becoming kind of a deciding part, what is right, what is not. Now it has to be voted in Congress first. So that's for United States. That's very important part there. Also, I have that's a very good news for United States, because it means that how to call them, so it won't be shadow banned. Those people which are evil and they conspire against the freedom of United States, they are losing actually. I thought honestly that I really got a big increase in hope for the United States recently, once I heard those things. Another thing which I heard, now I know that you may disagree again, I know that Federal Reserve and it's not a reserve and it's not federal, I know all of that, okay? And I know that was created in a wrong way and it shouldn't be created and so on, but I've heard from certain individual, you can Google him, you can YouTube him or Rumble him, Tom Luongo, and he believes that actually power is on a good side. Jerome Powell, the chief of Federal Reserve, and that he's in some sort of power struggle with Europe and other places. And he believes that Tom Luongo, that he's not Christian, by the way, he's just a regular guy, smart guy, I must add, and he really gave me hope that there is some power struggle between the Federal Reserve and evil banking system in Europe. Basically, it is cutting the chain completely, and may leave. Unfortunately, I live in Europe, but I'm all for the destruction of the evil financial system, even if it starts with Europe. So he is basically cutting the chain. He's following his agenda, which, according to the Tom Luongo guy, it is good for United States. It won't save everything, but it will increase the strength comparing with Europe or other countries. Because from other prophecies, obviously, you know, the dollar will lose value and so on, but especially from Chris Reed prophecy, but there were others as well. But I personally believe that after this decline and everything, and during this shaking, the system will be cleansed or reshaped. It's not like Federal Reserve will disappear today, and tomorrow it will be godly and beautiful system and so on. It won't happen overnight, but I believe it gave me hope what that Tom Luengo was saying. Just listen to him. That you people, United States, are in a process of there's some good work being done. One, on the side of Federal Reserve, which I wouldn't expect knowing the origins of that. And second, the good job is happening in the highest court in the land, Supreme Court. The different things were announced. One of them was that Chevron, which is probably the biggest, as big as abortion law. Just in different area, but as big. So I'm focused a lot on America now, but let's go to Europe. We have a lot of upheavals happening, political upheavals around Europe, and they are good ones, because we have right now there's a second round of voting in France, and I hope that Le Pen will win outright. And we had right side people winning previously in Italy. We have right people winning, gaining ground in Germany, but they are very slow in that. You have now right government in Holland. So things are happening. Now, question is how far it will go. It won't obviously stop the shaking. This is part of the shaking. So I just want to tell you that one of my prayers is that the EU will collapse as the evil system it is, as well as the evil financial system worldwide, which encompasses US, Europe, and Australia, Canada, and other countries in UK, United Kingdom as well. By the way, United Kingdom, you had Tories lost, and Nigel Farage is gaining ground. Didn't get many seats, but still more than he had. So he will have more voice to speak to the British people. That's so. In France, Le Pen, you have Farage in here. In United Kingdom, you have. Forgot the name of the woman in Italy. She is apparently a Catholic woman. Forgot her name, sorry. But she's also trying to do something. Unfortunately, European election went not so good. There was an increase in seats for the right wing, so leftists lost a little bit, but still they control the parliament, so they control the commission, and they will be trying to push all the agendas they had, which are basically destroying Europe completely in all aspects: financial, economic, societal, all aspects. So hopefully Powell will pull the thing stronger, and Euro will collapse, which will be good for everybody. Basically, I'm rooting for freedom for all the nations. So freedom for United States, for Canada, for Australia, for all the nations in Europe and in Russia. Because Russia is not Russians. Russia consists of many nations, and Russians are only a small part of that. So that you know. So I'm praying for freedom for them. I'm praying for freedom for people in China, in Korea, especially in the north side. Freedom for people in Japan, New Zealand. Sorry, if I didn't mention you, I'm praying for freedom for all the nations, because that shaking should bring something good, and that's what I want. It should bring freedom. Freedom, above all, to accept Christ. So that entire agenda which they pushing will collapse and destroy them. in a process. So they will have a setback of 50 or 100 years in the name of Jesus. So we went through that. So financial, I already told you a little bit. There is a shaking in bond market, loan, commercial real estate. Banks smaller banks in US will suffer, but most likely first to fall will be European banks, especially German, Italian maybe. But German Deutsche Bank, I heard, that has derivatives on the level of quadrillions. I cannot even imagine that number. I have a problem with trillion. Quadrillion is beyond me completely. For those that don't know, derivatives are basically bets. It's like casino. So you're betting that something will, let's say, price go up or go down. So they have no underlying value. They are just bets. And the way the banking system works, it's a partial reserve system, or however we call it. So basically they can have loans and everything on huge amount of money, and they have no reserves to cover for the losses if they will happen. And derivatives, if they blow, they will blow everything. They won't be able to stop it. So house of cards is ready to fall. At the same time, we had yen falling, and this was causing also American treasuries to be sold. So this is causing a problem with American treasuries, because Japanese banks are selling them to prop up yen and to prop up their balance sheets. There are other reasons for that as well. And Japanese yen went over 160 per $1, and are losing control over that. So Japan and Europe may be the first to go in that perfect storm, as falling finances, crashing banks, and so on. So we went through financial weather. There was no really, at least from my point of view, much happening recently about the weather. At least I don't know about it. So I will skip that one. As for war, so there is a problem in Europe. Apparently some countries are pushing to war with Russia, and those countries would be France and UK mostly, I think. But obviously there are people behind the scenes which are doing that. Now the same Tom Luongo I mentioned, he believes that they are trying to push United States to fight the war with Russia, so then they can impose certain things on Russia and just mind strip Russia of the resources. Now, it is a valid theory. At the same time, Russia is not a nice guy. They're not good guys. Like I'm really, I cannot even listen to some people in the United States who present Russia and Putin like some Christian leaders almost. They're evil. They're different evil, okay? You have international evil financial system, and you have Russia, which is evil, China, which is evil, in the sense of obviously governments. And Russia has a history of invading their neighbors and conquering, and they are descendants of Mongols and Vikings. So just that you know. They're not Slavian nations, how to call it. They're not like Polish, Slovakian, or something like that. They're descendants of Mongols and Vikings. So imagine the background there. Ukrainians are even different mix, but they're also not really only a mix, some mix of Slovak nations. I don't know how to call it in English. Sorry guys. So anyway, the things are being pushed there. Russia is preparing for a long war. They set their economy into war system. So they basically setting up wartime economy. So they are ramping up production of all the equipment they have. This is not obviously modern equipment, but they can make a lot of it. They have not, as some people say, best army, but they can have a lot of it. So what is happening, they are building up, and they can make a move even this year. Basically what they might do, because I don't know if they want war. They say they want. They are not peaceful, okay? If you listen to people which are in power, which kind of speak things which Putin cannot say, they want to conquer Europe, basically, and control. They want Americans out of Europe, which won't be good for all those nations, all the Baltics, all the former, well, you call it Eastern Europe, but it's a Central Europe. It insults me when people call me Eastern Europe, my country. So Poland, Slovakia, Czech Republic, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria. This is Central Europe geographically, and Eastern is like Ukraine, Russia, and more, and farther down. So they are pushing him into the Western nations are putting into the corner. Now, globalists in United States want the same as those European nations, which I mentioned, UK and France. And then you have Mr. T, who has different views and has a support of Republicans, which now becoming slowly nationalists, which is probably good for the United States. He would oppose it, that war. But he may be pushed into the corner, and he may want to escalate to de-escalate. What it means? It means that he may attack something more than Ukraine, just to raise up stakes. So this may happen. And this may happen even this year, because it won't take him much to roll over Lithuania and join his country through Belarus with that small enclave called Kaliningrad, which shouldn't be Russian, because it was never Russian. It was either in Polish hands or German hands. But recently it was Polish, obviously. Then a long time before was German. So he may just roll over that one Baltic country. He may take all three at the same time. Those Baltics are very weak. They have no really strong army. There's very little people living there. There are empty spaces. If they enter, they over 48 hours and they will be maybe over. Maybe 3 days. Maybe 3 days max. It may be over. NATO won't do anything. Then they will be obviously running their mouths like we have to prepare for war and everything. So they may want to push him into the corner. Now, another thing, going back to financial, what may happen, they may try to cause something before the election in US, because whatever happened in the debate, they may not want to go to election. Some may want to cause something which will stop election from happening. And that's... So as I said, they may want to try to stop that election by creating some sort of crisis. Either war, if they push Putin strong enough, and he will retaliate by invading, let's say, Lithuania, or through financial things, and this could be done by Europe working with Yellen and Biden administration. And they may create some financial crisis already this year. And things are so stretched now that it may be easy for them to do. So this is what... Oh, there is another thing which I didn't mention. There is a constant attack on food production everywhere. United States, Europe, everywhere. So one of the things I would say we have to pray is to pray to protect food production. And another thing which I believe we should pray is to pray, I don't know if we can stop war in general, but at least stop it from going nuclear. And obviously you can pray for your country to not be involved, or be the least affected, as I'm praying for Ireland and back for Poland. Because it's getting very dangerous now. So we cannot stop the shaking, but we can lessen certain things, we can protect certain things, and this is what we'll be praying on that group. So if you go to the description, there is that Telegram group where you can just share information. There's not much there, but you can drop things, links to different elements which you can see that they're happening. But you can also email to that, email me on that email which is presented in the description. And I'm trying to set up international group for prayer for all those countries, especially mostly affected by the perfect storm, so we can protect certain things and we can change certain things. And please do not forget to share, like and subscribe and leave a comment to help me out with algorithms. God bless you, fellow warrior.